I never thought the person who would break me the most would be my own brother. You know, betrayal hits different when it comes from blood. I always believed that no matter what happened in life, family was supposed to be the one thing that never turned its back on you. But the night I found out that my brother had been sleeping with my girlfriend, the woman I thought I was going to marry, it felt like someone had ripped the air straight out of my lungs. And even now, I still ask myself, was I wrong for what I did next? Or did they deserve every bit of what came to them? Tell me if you would have done the same thing. It all started about 3 years ago. My girlfriend, Mia, and I had been together for almost 2 years at that point. We met in college. She was the outgoing type, full of life, the kind of girl who could light up a room just by walking into it. And I was the opposite, quiet, a bit awkward, always more focused on my work than anything else. But somehow she saw something in me. We clicked, and soon enough we were inseparable. I used to bring her home sometimes on weekends, just to spend time with my family. My brother, Adam, lived close by, so he'd often stop in too. He was everything I wasn't: charming, confident, the guy who could talk his way into or out of anything. I admired him honestly. He'd always been my role model growing up. I wanted to be like him. We were close, so close that I used to tell him everything, even the stuff I probably shouldn't have, including, unfortunately, all the little insecurities I had about my relationship with Mia. I'd tell him things like how sometimes I felt like she was too good for me, how she'd get distant when I was busy with work, and how I wished I could spend more time with her. He'd always listen, give advice, tell me I was overthinking things. I trusted him completely. Then small things started to feel off. It began with the way Mia laughed at his jokes, the kind of laugh that lingered too long, like it meant something more. I noticed the way she looked at him sometimes when she thought I wasn't watching. At first, I brushed it off. I didn't want to be that jealous boyfriend who made everything weird. But then I'd catch Adam texting someone late at night, smiling at his phone, and when I'd ask who it was, he'd just say a friend from work. Still, I didn't put it together. Not yet. I was naive. One weekend, Mia said she couldn't come over because she had to help a friend move apartments. I said no worries and thought nothing of it. That same night, Adam called me asking if I wanted to grab a beer, but I told him I was staying home, tired from the week. He said cool, maybe next time, and hung up. But about an hour later, I realized I had accidentally left my jacket in his car earlier that week. I figured I'd just swing by and grab it. He only lived 10 minutes away. When I got there, his car was in the driveway, lights on inside the house. I walked up to the door, and that's when I heard laughter, a woman's laugh, and my stomach dropped because it was her laugh. Mia's laugh. My hand froze on the doorknob, and my brain tried to tell me that maybe I was wrong. Maybe it wasn't what it sounded like. But then I heard her voice say his name softly, almost playfully, Adam. I can't even describe the feeling that went through me. It wasn't anger at first. It was this deep, sharp ache that started in my chest and spread until I felt like I couldn't breathe. I stood there for maybe a full minute, just listening, my heart beating so hard I thought they'd hear it. Then, against my better judgment, I opened the door. They didn't even hear me come in. She was sitting on his couch wearing his t-shirt, and they were kissing like they didn't have a care in the world. When she turned and saw me, her face went pale. Adam froze. For a second, no one said anything. I just stood there staring at them, trying to understand how two people I loved most in the world could do this to me. Mia, Adam. I remember my voice cracking as I said their names. She started to say something, some excuse maybe, but I couldn't even listen. I turned and walked out before either of them could speak again. I remember driving home, my hands shaking the whole way, every muscle in my body tense. I didn't cry, I couldn't, it was like I was numb. That night I didn't sleep at all. I kept replaying everything in my head. The texts, the little looks, all the times they'd laughed together when I wasn't in the room. It all suddenly made sense. The truth was right there the whole time, and I had just refused to see it. The next morning, Adam showed up at my door. He looked terrible, disheveled, guilty, like he hadn't slept either. He tried to explain himself, said it just happened. that he didn't mean to hurt me. I asked him how long it had been going on. He didn't answer at first, but I could see it in his eyes. It wasn't a one-time mistake. He finally admitted it had been going on for months. Months, I think that was the moment something inside me broke. I told him to get the hell out of my house. He kept apologizing, even tried to hug me, but I shoved him away. I didn't want his apologies. I wanted my brother back, the one who wouldn't do this. But that person was gone. Then Mia tried calling me dozens of times. I ignored every call. Eventually, she showed up at my place too, crying, begging me to listen. I didn't. I just stood there while she poured her heart out, saying it was a mistake, that she loved me, and that Adam had manipulated her. I didn't buy it. She wasn't a victim. She'd made her choice, so I closed the door in her face. Days passed. Then weeks, but I couldn't move on. I felt humiliated, betrayed, furious. Every time I saw their faces in my mind, my stomach turned. I wanted them to feel what I felt. I didn't want to hurt them physically, but I wanted them to understand what it meant to lose everything. And that's when I came up with my plan. So that's the situation I was in. My brother and my girlfriend had betrayed me in the worst possible way. Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to pause for a second and think. What would you have done if it were you? Would you forgive them, or would you make them pay for what they did? Seriously, comment below. Because what I did next, well, some people might say I went too far. I knew that both Adam and Mia were still seeing each other, at least secretly. They didn't post about it, but I had my ways of finding out. I wasn't going to confront them again, not yet. Instead, I waited. I waited and I watched. I knew Adam was trying to start a new business. He was looking for investors, trying to impress clients, basically putting everything on the line. And I also knew Mia had quit her job recently, planning to join him in the new venture. So I decided to make that business crumble before it even began. Using what I knew about him, his bad credit, his old debts, the shady deals he tried to hide, I anonymously reached out to a few of the investors he was courting. I didn't have to lie. I just gave them the facts, the ones they didn't know. A week later, every single one of them pulled out. Adam's dream fell apart before it even started. Meanwhile, I also learned that Mia was still using my old laptop, the one I'd lent her months before all this. I'd never asked for it back. Turns out, she'd logged into her social media accounts on that computer, and when I checked, I saw everything. Her messages, photos, even the ones she'd deleted. She'd been bad-mouthing me to her friends, calling me boring, saying she only stayed with me because I was safe. That was the final push. I took screenshots, hundreds of them, and sent them anonymously to her entire friend circle, and yes, even to her parents. The same people she'd bragged to about how perfect her relationship was. I didn't add a single word of my own. Just the screenshots, let the truth speak for itself. The fallout was instant. She tried to contact me again, but I blocked her everywhere. She lost several friends, her reputation shattered overnight. I won't lie, it was satisfying. I didn't feel proud of it, but I felt justified. Adam, on the other hand, spiraled. Without his investors, he lost his apartment and had to move back in with our parents. He tried reaching out again, telling me I'd ruined his life. I told him he'd done that himself, but deep down, hearing him admit it, seeing him finally broken, it gave me closure. Months went by and slowly I started to heal. I focused on myself, went back to the gym, picked up new hobbies, even started traveling. It was strange, but for the first time in years, I felt like I was living for me again. Then one day, I ran into Mia at a cafe. She looked different, tired, thinner, not the vibrant person I remembered. She approached me carefully, asked if we could talk. Against my better judgment, I said yes. We sat down and she told me everything. Apparently, after the fallout, her relationship with Adam didn't last long. He'd started blaming her for everything, saying she'd distracted him from his business. And eventually, he cheated on her too. The irony wasn't lost on me. She said she wanted to apologize. Not to get me back, but just to say she was sorry. And for the first time, I actually believed her. I told her I forgave her, but that forgiveness didn't mean I wanted her back in my life. She nodded, tears in her eyes, and walked away. That was the last time I ever saw her. As for Adam, our relationship never recovered. We're civil at family gatherings, but there's this unspoken wall between us. He knows I was the one who sabotaged his business, though we've never said it out loud. Sometimes, when I catch him looking at me, I can see the guilt in his eyes, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of regret. Looking back, I wonder if I went too far, if maybe I should have just walked away and let karma handle it. But then I remember those nights I couldn't sleep, those moments I felt worthless because of what they did. And I realize, sometimes, the only way to move on is to make sure the people who hurt you understand the weight of their actions. So yeah, maybe I did go too far, but I don't regret it. They learned their lesson, the kind of lesson they'll never forget. And if you ask me, that was enough. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to my story. What do you think? Was I wrong for what I did? Or did they deserve it? Let me know in the comments. And if you were on my side, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more crazy stories like this, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you all in the next story.